What do dreamy muses covered in flowers, delicate swirly lines and frames, and 60s rock acid posters all have in common? That's right, they're all influenced by the Art Nouveau movement. Hi, my name is Laura Kyung for Envato Tuts Plus, here to let you know about one of the most enduring art styles and why it has never really gone out of fashion. The term Art Nouveau was first used in the 1880s in the Belgian journal L'Art Moderne to describe the work of Le Bon, 20 painters looking to make change through art. From Belgium and France, Art Nouveau spread to the rest of Europe at the turn of the century. It was a style that influenced all sorts of creative disciplines like architecture, interior design, jewelry, furniture design, and graphics. The key idea behind Art Nouveau, which translates to new art, was bringing high art to the masses. Art Nouveau could have easily become devalued because of its popularization, but I believe it brought even more appreciation because it had that craft element attached to function. British designer William Morris, who was leading the arts and crafts movement in the late 19th century, wanted to eliminate the gap between fine art and the lesser applied or decorative arts. Through this ideal, Art Nouveau allowed everyone in society to have access to beautiful and functional art. At the same time, he dreamt of a new form of art that would be more appropriate with the inventions of the Industrial Revolution, like movie theaters and cars. Mass production wasn't as welcomed in Art Nouveau as artists saw it could devalue the craft and bring uniformity. The famous group Le Bon suggested blending fine arts, crafts, and function, arriving at Art Nouveau. Ironically, Art Nouveau wouldn't have been able to reach international influence and success had it not been for mass production. Industrial Revolution brought accessibility to new materials like iron and glass and concrete, which allowed the creation of buildings to the most beautiful objects. These materials allowed people from different classes to have access to the finer things in life, which was the goal of Art Nouveau. Without the influence of Art Nouveau, the popularization of art could have been kept only for higher classes until the conception of the Bauhaus, which had similar principles, or the mid-century modern-style architecture and their prefab homes that kicked off after World War II in the US. These were widely accessible for people of all classes. By 1885, Alphonse Mucha had created the famous Gismonda poster featuring Sarah Bernhardt. Later that year, Maison de l'Art Nouveau was opened by Siegfried Bing, a famous art dealer. The gallery sold art and design in the Art Nouveau style. A few years later, Art Nouveau works were shown at the 1900 Exposition Universelle in Paris. It was an acclaimed success that served to spread the style. The movement drew inspiration from botanicals and Romanticism, the literary movement of the 18th century. The Rococo style from the early 1700s was also used as inspiration in Art Nouveau with its organic forms. Art Nouveau artists used delicate curves, whiplash lines, and organic forms found in plants to achieve a sense of movement in their work. This can be seen across all creative disciplines from architecture, furniture design, and jewelry design. The flat perspective in many posters was influenced by ukiyo-e, a Japanese woodblock printing. This genre of Japanese art was published in a monthly journal by Siegfried Bing. It served as inspiration for many artists by using abstract color palettes, asymmetrical compositions, and flat planes. Japonism is the French term for the influence of Japanese art in Europe. Japan had an influence in Europe long before Art Nouveau, but this style made it even more prominent. Many artists replicated the subject matter of Japanese art, like the focus on women and their daily activities and landscape paintings, while others adopted techniques like black outlines, toned-down color palettes, the use of blocks of colors, and flat planes. Art Nouveau also reflected a sexual awakening and was obsessed with the beauty of the female form. Women were considered muses and depicted with a sense of eroticism. Such is the case of Alphonse Mucha. The Czech painter is well known for distinct decorative posters of the actress Sarah Bernhardt. This specific poster of the play Gismonda was an overnight success. Many artists' work featured idealized female bodies with elegant gowns that looked luxurious and erotic, personifying the new liberated woman. While Art Nouveau artists were obsessed with female beauty, they also idealized the female form and commercialized eroticism. Women were able to turn these potentially degrading depictions and turn them into tools to liberate themselves. Such was the case later on in the 60s and 70s with the psychedelic movement. Typographically, letter forms were influenced by the same characteristics of organic and free-flowing shapes. Many of the fonts were handmade. Some letters were more elongated and embellished. Think back to the inspiration of femininity. Art Nouveau typography skewed away from manufactured appearance. The Art Nouveau movement went by many other names and reached international acceptance due to the advances in printing. While France is the country most associated with the new art, other countries gave it its own name. Jugendstil in Germany, the modern style in Britain, the Vienna Secession in Austria, each with their own specific traits. Art Nouveau influenced other art movements that emerged later in the century, like Art Deco, which is often used as a synonym of Art Nouveau. But truth is, shortly before World War I, Art Nouveau started to fade out, giving way to Art Deco in France and expanding in the US and the rest of Europe in the 1920s and 30s. Technological advances expanded the luxury industry, and increasing wealth leveled up to the social status of many decorative artists. Art Nouveau was a clear response to artists wanting to break free from classic art. Art Deco was all about glamorizing the Industrial Revolution. Visually, Art Deco borrowed a few elements from Art Nouveau, like botanicals, and included sharp angles and geometrical shapes. In the 60s and 70s, we saw a reinterpretation of Art Nouveau with the psychedelic movement. It all emerged in San Francisco from the rebellion against the military-industrial complex. There was an increased use of psychedelic drugs, changing perceptions of sexuality and rock music. This rebellion was reflected on Art Nouveau designs. Some say Art Nouveau on acid. The classic Art Nouveau imagery was altered and used as posters. The alterations were truly leveled up. Acid colors, trippy, flowy lines, bold hand lettering, and flower patterns were prominent for the psychedelic movement. Art Nouveau started off as a counterculture celebrating cultural experimentation and sexual freedom. During these years, it was all about flower power, freedom, and peace. Art Nouveau's stylistic qualities can be seen in more recent revivals, like in the early 2010s. In the last few years, we have seen a resurgence of hand-drawn typefaces that resemble the same qualities as the ones in the Art Nouveau period. Serif fonts with elegant swirls and flourishes that also bring back the sense of craftsmanship mixed with technology. We have also seen branding influenced by the Art Nouveau period, especially branding for luxury products. The legacy of Art Nouveau is celebrated with its own day, June 10th, the death anniversary of two famous architects of the movement, Antoni Gaudí and Odon Lechner. A day like this keeps the Art Nouveau movement alive. The Art Nouveau movement put an end to the belief that painting and sculptures were superior to other crafts and brought art to other social classes. We can see this replicated with the 60s and 70s psychedelic movement. Both styles stemmed from dissatisfaction with society and the desire to be free. The Art Nouveau movement is also a great example of a movement that spans all across multiple creative disciplines. In graphic design, it did the heavy lifting and brought the popularity of posters designs as a form of advertising. So why hasn't Art Nouveau really gone away? Like many movements, art styles are a response to social, cultural, and political movements at any given time, but also designers and artists are looking to move away from the rigidity and rules of certain styles. Art Nouveau's predecessor, the arts and crafts movement, was a reaction against mass production and devaluation of art, eventually giving room to the Art Nouveau period. The 60s and 70s psychedelic movement was a rebellion against the wartime and a fight for freedom, and ultimately a response from the clean and geometrical modernist styles. Technological advances awakens a nostalgia, love, and appreciation for craftsmanship. While not exactly replicating the style of Art Nouveau, the love for craftsmanship and exploration came back once more in the late 80s and early 90s with the grunge style led by David Carson. There is a recent resurgence of Art Nouveau that started at the beginning of the decade, mimicking similar typefaces and developing brands inspired by luxury and craftsmanship. The popularization of artificial intelligence, generative creative tools, and yet again industrialization might push some artists over the edge and bring back the love for craftsmanship, proving once more that the essence of Art Nouveau comes back every few years to be on trend again. You can find some of the examples used in this video at Envato Elements. Be sure to check out their creative assets library with unlimited downloads. And don't forget to subscribe to the Envato Tuts Plus YouTube channel for more videos. My name is Laura Kyung from all of us at Envato Tuts Plus. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.